So yeah, one really clear response comes to mind. I think it kind of stems too to what you learn on campus versus what you learn while working. So I had worked at a company for 3 years after graduating before starting the new company. So the answer to me would be focus. How you prioritize, how you're going to spend your time to go achieve the business opportunity you've identified. And I think as someone that's younger, I'm leveraging mostly my experience at Zazzle in making that decision, mentors I've talked to, advisors I've talked to, but I can also very clearly see how more experience that I have, like let's say 10 years in the future, I'll have so much more of a wealth of knowledge to do that prioritization, to have that focus. Because that's the biggest challenge that I identify with my startup, is we have so many ideas, so many things to do. It's kind of a constant, and it's fun, daily challenge to figure out, given this many hours, what are we going to go do to have the most impact with our time? Because we have limited resources. And I just want to get better at that. I know I'm going to get better at it. And I see people that are older than me that are really good at it. And that's what I would say.
Well, I would flip the question and say, I think there's tremendous advantages to being younger. Because sometimes, just both in terms of where we are in our lives and how much time we can spend on a company, all the way to the way that we think and how we really, I think we think out of the box because we haven't been indoctrinated for that long, for some of these guys at all. And I think that can be really powerful when you're an entrepreneur because you are creating something that no one else has ever thought of before. And you're able to do that because you haven't studied as much or you haven't been told that this is the way that things are.
I was going to do exactly the same thing and flip it. And I'll add one more advantage to Claire's list, which is it turns out to be an interesting negotiating strategy and lets you kind of open a lot of questions that you couldn't otherwise, which is, hey, this is my first time. Can you explain these terms to me? That sounds wrong. Like, why do we need that? And it becomes sort of a very easy way to have conversations. That it's really reasonable. You're not giving anything away. They know you're young. They know you're a first-time entrepreneur. And you can say, hey, I just think we should rethink this from kind of first principles. And it often leads to like a very interesting, different discussion. I think, obviously, Josh's point is totally true that you're missing a lot of experience, and there's value to that. We've been lucky enough to find some really great advisors that have added a lot of that.
So, a few months into Increo, when I was learning accounting and insurance and all of those other fun things that you need to know in order to run a company that, as a computer science major at Stanford, albeit one that took a lot of business classes, you don't know. It was right in there that I heard, and I can't remember who exactly told me this, but somebody said, there's a lot of skills that you don't necessarily have that are necessary to becoming an entrepreneur. But do you think that those people that are older than you, that are quitting the job that they have to become an entrepreneur, have done all of those different things necessary to start a company in any of their roles in the past? And no, nobody except entrepreneurs do the full set of things required to start a company. Nobody has that whole skill set. So yes, you may be learning things you don't know. You may be forced to pull out QuickBooks and figure out how to do month-by-month subscription-based accounting in 2 hours. But I can bet you that anybody else who's getting into that industry or that field for the first time is going to have similar challenges.